All right, thank you guys. I'm going to share my screen here um, to begin with. And so for those of you guys that don't know me, I think tonight pretty much everyone does, but I'm Dr. Catherine Espana. I am a pediatrician in Houston. I do have my own practice here, so I do still, practice medicine. And this is sort of like, my other job that I love to be able to share this new technology with everybody out there. So my friend Monica, who is coming, not from Houston, is going to tell you guys a little bit about her and what she has learned with this technology and a little bit about the company.
Hello, everybody. We are so happy to be here with you, sharing what has radically changed these last months in our lives. So, thank you for being here. And listen, I truly believe with all of my heart that some of you here are about to make the biggest decision of your lives. The information that you will hear tonight could take your life in a totally different path. You can have a radical shift in your life, physically or financially, in ways that you don't even understand right now, but you will at the end of this Zoom. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Monica Suarez. I'm a mom, a wife, and I started using this incredible technology 3 months ago. I was one of the lucky ones that I started seeing results on the first week. Everybody's different. Some people see results on the first day, first week, 2 months, and it's okay. We know that 97% of the people using the patch for 90 days will have their personal results to share. Like I said, I was one of the lucky ones who felt results fast. I started feeling more energy. I stopped drinking my 3 cups of coffee a day. I got more resistance and
The
endurance while
moms on that
riding bike with
Zoom
my
for the
kids. I started sleeping better at night. And one of the reasons why I started using the patch was because of my stomach problems. I was getting bloated with anything that I would eat or drink. And that problem has been gone for the past 3 months, thank God. After 6 weeks of using the patch, I started noticing more mental clarity. And honestly, as a mom, that's huge. And I know moms out there know exactly what I mean. And little by little, you start feeling different, something different. You start noticing that things are changing in your body. So that's one of the exciting things about the patch. And next slide, please. And well, let me tell you a little bit about the company. Now, in October, LiveWave is turning 20 years old. So it's not a startup company. We've been in the market for a long 20 days. We went from making $20 million in 2021 to $430 million last year. And this year, we're projected to make $600 million. We are open in over 75 countries. I think it's actually 80 countries now, which means that if you know anyone in any of those countries, you could be helping them to get healthier and you could expand your LiveWave business to all of those countries as well. It is a unique product. We are not another Me Too company, like hair care supplements. We have zero competition. There is nothing like us in the market, and we are the only ones in the world to have this technology. Next slide, please. And I, yeah, that one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Liveway is now ranked #1 momentum company for businessforhome.org. We're experiencing huge momentum for growth at Liveway. It's been very easy to share this technology because people want health and they want anything that is natural. And everybody's tired of drugs, medication. And I think after COVID, we all learned the importance of taking care of our bodies, and we are more aware of what we take and use, for our health. And next slide, please. Now, let me tell you about the inventor of this technology, the genius David Schmidt. Since David was a kid, he always wanted to be an inventor. And over 20 years ago, he was hired by the government to invent something for the Navy SEALs, for the submarines, something natural to give them energy and to help them stay awake with no drugs, chemicals, something natural. That is when he invented his first patch, the Energy Enhancer. After that, September 11 came and the government started focusing more on weapons. So David decided to go out in the market. He talked to doctors, scientists, and that's when we started seeing athletes wearing the patches. And I don't know if you guys remember the big controversy in 2004 for the Olympics. The Stanford University swim team were breaking their personal records by a lot. They were winning, and people noticed that swimmers were wearing a patch. So people started wondering what's going on with those patches. What do they have? So they had to take the patches out to the UCLA labs to test them. But the results came out and the patches were completely natural. There was nothing wrong there. And after that, David started specializing in age reversing and created a variety of different patches. In 2008, he focused his attention on stem cell research. We have over 150 patents. He says he stopped counting after 150. And his most recent patent took him 10 years and $4.5 million to bring it to the market. And for you guys to know, to get a patent, you need two things. The product has to be unique, the only thing in the market, and it has to do what it says it does. And here in this picture, you can see a very important part of the patent for the X39 patch says, as a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvement in energy, and elevation of antioxidants. And so now Dr. Catherine will tell us more about the science behind this incredible patch.
All right, so before I talk about how this works, we've had these videos that sometimes we share, we text message friends and things like that, and I thought it would be really interesting to actually, instead of me telling you, I know someone who felt this way or that way, if we actually showed you some of those videos. So they're pretty short. The first video is actually Monica's dad, and I wanted to show you guys here.
For several years, on this hand, this finger, I have trigger finger, and about a year or so on this other hand, the finger. Now on this one, I couldn't bend, it hurt, and I couldn't put it straight, it hurts also. On this one, when I bend, I cannot put it straight. So when I force it to get it straight, it makes a noise, tuck, a noise. It doesn't hurt, but it makes a noise.
And it's hard to put it straight.
Yeah, I can tell that's trigger finger. Now, about 3 days ago, I have noticed that I have no pain on this hand, that I don't have a thick sound on this other one, and I can put it straight, and I'm very pleased with it. It's about 3 weeks that I'm using the patch.
Awesome. Good, Gordito. I'm very happy for you.
All right.
So just to give you guys a heads up really, because I know Monica was going to share too, something new that's happened is that he has had diabetes for like over 30 years, and he was on insulin and taking, other medications for it. And after a few weeks of using the patch, he, talks to his endocrinologist 2 weeks all the time, and sends all his lab work, his sugar levels to kind of figure it out. And his sugars were actually normalizing. So his doctor said, hey, let's try getting you off of insulin. And he's been taking insulin for over 30 years. So they took him off insulin to see what would happen. And then they, met again a week later, and then met again a week later. And it's been now, 8 weeks, I believe. He has not gone back to using insulin.
It's been 10 weeks.
10 weeks now. Yeah. So that's pretty remarkable. Now, this patch does not cure and it does not diagnose anything, right? I am a physician, but I'm not your doctor. I can definitely, answer a few questions here and there, but this just, and I'll explain in a second how it does it, but essentially it just gives your body the tools it needs, so it's sort of able to figure out what your body needs. Everybody's different. So for a while, people thought this was a patch for pain. It's not for pain. It really is for whatever is going on, inside of you. So this is another one that's pretty impressive, pretty quickly.
Hey, brother, I want you to see this, right? We were here at our church, and look at this kid. He's been using the patches for a month and a half, way before us, right? And this is him right here and his mom. And he couldn't even do anything with his hands or anything. Look at this. Vamos. Con la otra mano. Con la otra mano. And now his mom is saying that he's drawing, he's talking to them. And she says she's been on the patch for a month and a half, bro. I thought you guys would appreciate that.
Right. So something that I've been seeing, obviously, as a pediatrician, that I'm super excited is that I am seeing changes in kiddos that have are on the spectrum, kiddos that have issues with focusing and attention deficit for sure. And so, I mean, if we can give someone something to get them have a better quality of life, again, this is not going to cure or anything like that. We don't claim that we cure any diseases, but that is huge. So this is the last one that I wanted to share with you guys. This is actually a dad of one of my patients. So how long have you been wearing the patch?
Been wearing 2 months now.
Okay, and?
And I had a tear on my rotator cuff. I went and had an MRI done. It was 75% torn in my rotator cuff and then 100% torn on my bicep. And I started wearing the patch in lieu of getting surgery. Initially, I couldn't lift my arm above my head at all. I couldn't take a glass out of the cabinet. Now I can lift my arm above my head. I can take a glass out. I can't do a lot of weight, but I can do a lot more weight than obviously before. In addition to that, I had something going on with my sciatic nerve, and I started wearing I think it's called Aeon patch, and it went away within a few days, and I don't have any problem whatsoever. So I firmly believe in the patch. I can plan on continue wearing it, and hopefully I'm going to hit the gym pretty soon.
All right, so yeah, he came to me saying that he didn't want to get surgery right away. And I said, hey, try this. I don't think, and he says, absolutely, my shoulder, not only is the pain gone, but it feels like it's getting better. Is it going to be right away like surgery? No. I mean, it might take a long time, but if you can avoid a surgery and you're still functional, that is pretty amazing. So again, what is this? This is essentially a little patch that activates a peptide called copper peptide, which secondarily activates your dormant stem cells. And so essentially, we are all aging every single day. And after about the age of 30, it really is about 25, about half of your stem cells are active and the other half are gone dormant. And after 60, you lose almost all stem cell activity. Research shows that you only have about 10% of your stem cells actually active, which is why you notice that the older you get, the more that things start aching, hurting, arthritis, anything. Ooh, I don't know what happened. Okay. Anything specifically that has to do with just your aging body. Your cells are older. They don't have the capability like they did when you were younger to regenerate. If a kid breaks their arm, essentially they can fix that fracture within 6 weeks really easily, unless it's a really bad fracture. Most kids don't get surgery for that. If I break my arm, at 46, most likely I will have to have surgery with pins and things like that to make sure, because the doctors know that I don't have the capability to heal as fast as a kid does. Now they don't know I'm wearing this, so now I'm getting there. I'm getting to how I was at 15. So how does it work? It is a patent, like Monica said, nanocrystal technology. It literally looks like a sticker. You take it off like this, and it is clear. It looks like a clear sticker. And in the middle, that little white part, those are little nanocrystals. There is no medicine. It is not, they call it non-transdermal. Transdermal means, you hear normally people, when they hear of a patch, they think of a nicotine patch, they think of an estrogen patch, a patch that actually, puts medicine in your body through the skin, which is the biggest organ of your body. This does not do any of that. There's no medicine in it, which is why I'm so in love with it, because unfortunately, I feel like medicine nowadays has turned into sick medicine. Let's wait until you get really sick, and then we're going to throw a lot of medicines at you to try to fix a little bit of the problems. But nobody's looking at preventive, and nobody's looking at how maybe you can do it. And I feel like stem cell technology is definitely the future of medicine. So these little crystals activate with our energy. We all have energy as human beings, actually as mammals, because dogs and cats and horses as well have this. That energy is actually infrared light, which we can't see it with the naked eye, but it is, if you ever wear night goggles, and I know that police usually wear it if they're out really late at night looking for people, they can see like a red shadow moving around. That is the infrared light that we are actually emitting out of our body. So what happens is that light activates the patch and acts kind of like a mirror. Now I know this is going to sound like science fiction here. It actually reflects your own energy, injects it back into your body, changing the frequency. So that is a big deal because depending on what frequency of light you put in your body, then something happens biochemically, a reaction in your body to do something. So for example, if you go out in the sun, that's how most people really know about it. The sun has a specific frequency, sunlight, that goes through the skin into your body, and it tells your body to create vitamin D. We all know that, we hear that, we have no idea, most of us, how it really happens. We just know that it happens. So for me, is what I use phototherapy on a daily basis is on babies. Any of you guys that are parents have had a baby, if your baby was ever jaundiced or looked a little yellow, we actually, what is the treatment for that? We put the babies underneath this blue light that has a specific frequency that again goes into the body of the babies, and it tells the liver of the babies instructions on how to change the reaction of the chemical called bilirubin so the babies can get rid of it in their urine and in their stool, and that way they will not be yellow anymore and it won't be dangerous. So phototherapy has been around for ages and we've used it in medicine. This is a different way because we're using our own body as the source of light, which is genius. Again, it sounds a little crazy, but just follow along to see. So what does this do? That little frequency that goes into your body tells your body instructions to increase a peptide that's called CHK copper peptide. The copper peptide has been discovered in the 70s, and it's known to be the anti-aging peptide. I know peptides are a big thing right now. A lot of people want to try to take peptides. To be honest with you, you cannot. If you drink peptides, your stomach and your body is just going to eat it up, and it's not going to be very active. So the only way to really get the most out of peptide is injecting them. And so, for example, insulin. Insulin is the most common peptide out there. A peptide is just like two different amino acids put together. And I'm getting a little science here, sorry. But just to get you guys understand that the only way normally that you can get these peptides that are so right now into the market because they're helping people regenerate, get stronger, is through injections. And unfortunately, in the US right now, they are not as easily defined. Now that I've been doing this, I found a lot of patients that used to go to naturopath doctors and get injections, weekly or injections monthly. And now it's becoming harder and harder because the FDA is really kind of frowning upon that. So I actually have patients who buy these from Germany and who buy these from Europe to get them. And this is an easier way. You put this on, and I'll explain how you do it, and your body will create its own copper peptide. What does the copper peptide do? It increases your strength, reduces inflammation, increases stamina, which is why all those athletes were feeling so good, increases your energy, the mental clarity that Monica was talking about. It's incredible. I mean, I know those women that are on right now know that as you go through perimenopause and menopause, you start, forgetting things. You walk into a room and you're like, I don't remember why I was going into this room. And so this really has helped a lot with that. It also helps to restore musculoskeletal conditions, improve sleep. I've never had issues sleeping, meaning I would fall asleep right away, but I would always wake up tired, which also has a lot to do with hormones and everything. But with this, like, I'm waking up before my alarm clock even goes off. And it's funny because someone called me today, I think he's on right now, and the first thing he said was, I'm waking up before the alarm clock goes off. I'm like, well, so am I. That was one thing I noticed within the first week I started using it. And it also can improve your skin appearance, believe it or not, because after a few months of wearing it, you start increasing collagen. So this is the long-term result, again, of all these clinical studies. There's over 80 clinical studies, and if anybody wants to read any of these, let us know. We can absolutely send them to you. Within the first few days, about 4,000 genes begin to reset. And so that is the regeneration of your own genes. Within 6 weeks, your brain starts to become balanced. They have studies of actually people that they scan their brain with thermoscans, and they can see how brains are really, really hot. They look really, really red. And then and actually I have a study here, I wasn't going to say it, but I'll show it to you guys. Session 2 of after 3 weeks of scanning the brain, they notice that the redness is gone, the inflammation is gone. After 6 weeks on X39, it is so much better brain coherence. It is so much more balanced. And that is the reason why they say you start thinking clearer. And that's why I think we're noticing so many things with people that have any kind of neurological issue, whether it's dementia, Parkinson's, autism, ADHD, I mean, you name it. I don't want to name conditions because this treats the symptoms, not necessarily the disease, but it is crazy what I'm seeing with my patients and my husband's patients as well. Within 3 months, like I said, your collagen starts increasing, which of course we always want to look young and we want to look good. But believe it or not, more importantly, you want the inside of your like collagen is all over your inside organs, including your blood vessels. So if you don't have good collagen, your blood vessels will start to not working very well. And this increases the collagen everywhere in your body.
La basura.
And within 6 months, we have studies that actually the heart reverses in age. There is now this really cool little ring that people wear, and if people have noticed, that really tracks like daily everything, your oxygen level, how you're doing, how your heart's working, because technology is going crazy. And I have seen results of people putting how after a few months, how their heart actually starts acting way younger. And so it is pretty remarkable here. How do you wear it? Like I said, you pull out the sticker, you put it on in the morning, and you take it off at night and rinse and repeat. It comes in a little pack like this. It's a little, they call it a sleeve. It's an envelope where there's 30 patches in here. So every envelope has 1 month, a 1 month treatment for it. They did all the studies on specific acupuncture points because it does have to do with the flow of the energy in your body. And so they recommend either behind your neck or below your belly button. However, anecdotally, people have worn it if they have pain. For example, my patient I showed you with the rotator cuff tear, he wore it on his shoulder. And they say that sometimes, although the effects are systemic, if you wear it where it hurts, it might actually work a little bit faster in that area. Kind of like it works specifically on there and then everywhere else too, okay? Very important to drink a lot of water because this also has a detox effect, which what I also really, really like because unfortunately this day and age, I feel like you breathe the air and you're already breathing all kinds of chemicals. And so it does detox your body. And if you're dehydrated, you might get headache, you might get a little bit of joint pain. So the more water that you drink, the more hydrated your cells are going to be, and the less effects of that detox effect you might feel. So it is sophisticated, meaning, like I said, it sounds like science fiction. And trust me, when I first heard about this, I was the biggest skeptic. A friend of mine told me about it, said, hey, I want you to check it out as a doctor and tell me if it's legit. I looked at it for about 5 minutes and called her back and said, no, this is not legit. Like there's no way that a sticker, it's going to give you all those things that they say it does. And then lo and behold, she tried it with her mother-in-law, called me back and told me how her mother-in-law was feeling. And then I trust her. I know she's not going to make stuff up. So I said, okay, well, let me try it. So me and my husband and my mom tried it for about 2 months before we even told anybody about it. I wanted to kind of really see what I felt. And I can tell you, I started feeling better, like I said, within about 3 or 4 days. My husband, it took about 3 weeks. My mom had really bad arthritis. Within a week, she started feeling better. But really after 2 months, she keeps showing me her fingers. She used to have to get steroid shots from her doctor because she has really bad genetic arthritis. And she is not taking any pain meds in the last 2 months, 2 or 3 months. So we now have been on the patch for a little over 7 months. And one of the questions people ask all the time is, do I have to wear this for the rest of my life? Well, I can tell you they're going to bury me with these patches unless they come out with some sort of better technology because I've never felt better. I feel like I'm 10 years younger. And essentially, I explain it kind of like with vitamins, right? Like if you decide you're going to start taking vitamin, like people hear that vitamin D is really good. And unfortunately, we're not out and about as much. So people have low vitamin D. So you take vitamin D every day. As long as you're taking it, your body has it. If you stop taking the vitamin D, you're not going to die. Nothing horrible is going to happen to you. But simply your body's not going to have the vitamin D there. And slowly but surely, you're going to go back to feeling kind of where you were. This is the same way. We have lots of copper peptide when we're young. As we age, just like with everything else, with hormones, with collagen, copper peptide unfortunately starts going down the drain. We don't have as much. That's what this patch does. It gives our body that copper peptide back that we need. If we stop wearing it, eventually you're just simply not going to have it in your system as much. It might take a month. It might take 2 months, 3 months. I don't know. We're all different depending on how you metabolize things in your body. But eventually you'll just go back to where you were. And that's not where I want to be. I don't want to be where my knees were hurting from my horrible arthritis from dancing. I want to be as active as I am now. I'm back in the gym lifting weights, which I know is very important, during menopause. And I had stopped doing that because my joints were hurting so bad. So that is one thing that people ask. The other thing that people ask is, okay, well, how do I buy this? And what is the best way to buying it? So there's 3 different ways of buying this product. There is the premium, which I say it's for the serious entrepreneur, meaning this can be also a business. So for me, it started as let me try it first. I quickly realized how good I was feeling and how I needed to share this with all my patients and everyone else. So you can turn this into a business if you want. When you buy a package for use, the business comes in for free. There's nothing that you have to pay to join the business. You get to choose if you want to share this with people or not. So there is no commitment whatsoever when you first come in. But as a premium package, it's $17.50. Essentially, it comes with 20 months, so 20 sleeves of X39 for you, for your family. I have a lot of people that have a big family that they want to share with everybody or want to share with others. This is the best price. It ends up being around $87 per sleeve. Remember, every sleeve is a 30-day treatment. Okay, there's 30 patches. Then there's the advanced pack, which it's $535. It comes with 6 sleeves, so either 6 months for yourself, or if you're sharing this, is the most common one that people buy when they're sharing with their significant other, because you have 3 months of the treatment for each person, and it ends up being around $89 a pack. And then there is Experience, the core pack. It's $285. If you want to experience it, it brings you 3 sleeves. So it ends up being about $99 a sleeve. I recommend people need to try, at least commit to a 3-month treatment. I really do. It's kind of like when you go to the doctor and they give you high blood pressure medicine. They never say, come back in 2 weeks and let me see how you're doing. They usually say, hey, take this. We'll see you again in 3 months. We'll do tests again and see kind of where you're at. So I do recommend, yes, there's a way to get only 1 month, but it ends up being way more expensive. And I feel like you should really commit to at least give it a try for a minimum of 3 months before we would give up. Because like I said, everyone feels things a little bit differently. So that is kind of it as far as the presentation of how it goes. I would love to answer if you guys have any questions. Let me look in the chat real quick, because I think we do have a couple of minutes left. And it's funny that Dominic says I'm old. Yeah, no, I think you're a little bit older than me. So let's not go there. Anybody have any questions at all on how this works or how the business works specifically? Or anything you might want to share with anyone else if you have been using the patch? Now everyone's really quiet tonight. All right, well, I want to say thank you so much for you guys joining. We were right at 30 minutes, which is usually when I like to keep it, because I know everyone's really busy. And the fact that you gave me 30 minutes of your time, honestly, I really appreciate it. I invite you to try this technology. I think this is the wave of the future. I really do. And unfortunately, I think pharma and pharmacological companies in the US sort of reign the medical world. And it's one of the reasons I think why this patch is not at CVS or at Walgreens. People ask that all the time. One, because I think you need to tell the story and tell people really how it works. If I put this at CVS and people look at a sticker, they're going to be like, that doesn't work. And 2, because essentially, I think they probably wouldn't let it be like sold as that before. They have a lot of power. And so it is in 80 countries now. And so essentially, we're not the only ones that are using or know about this technology. And so I, again, invite you to please share this with others. Try it yourself if you haven't. And then definitely talk to the person that invited you to this call to answer any other questions that you guys might have. All right. So I hope you guys have a great night. Please pray for Florida. I don't think any of the Floridian people made it on tonight. I hope everything is, as least of damage as possible. So thank you, Monica. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.